Everybody, welcome back. It's live tonight. It is April 16th, 2024. I hope everybody's well. I hope the camera's well. I've been playing with this a little bit. It kind of looks dark on my end, but I don't know. I'm sitting here and I got light shining in my face. I have no idea. I'm kind of seeing a dark version of myself. But, hey, it is what it is, and guess what? We'll make it work. Either way, you know why I know that? Because we can. Okay, we're going to reposition these screens real quick and get to work. So, I hope everybody's well. You gotta open that up too. Good grief almighty. William Pullen, what was I doing all the time I was sitting here talking to you? Not a damn thing, apparently. So welcome in. Yeah, so open line tonight. I'm sure most of you know the number by now. 234-738-2552. Welcome in the Geo Observation as well. He's still rocking the San Bernardino Museum. Is that a cap or is that a coffee mug? I don't know. We'll find out here in a little bit. Yeah, so I wanted to... I can see myself right now. It's just totally distraction, so we're going to try to walk away from that for a few minutes. So let's talk about this. I want to talk about this before we get too far in to the rest of the regularly scheduled program tonight. I know William Pullen's got some paranormal activity he wants to talk about, and we'll get into that as well. But first, I want to talk about my last week, why I wasn't here. Last week, I had the opportunity to join the National Parents Union on their Parent Power 2024, Taking the Hill. Oh, very nice coffee mug, nice little museum. Visited there a couple weeks ago. That looks cool, Geo Observation. And, some of those camel museums can be what's the word I'm looking for? Shithole. There, I said it. Shithole. Okay, but anyways, back to Washington, D.C. Joining the National Parents Union there. Is my program running on YouTube? It should be. I mean, in theory it is. If everything's going right and going across, but, some days it isn't. So, yeah, it happens. I don't know. So, anyways. So yeah, back to, again, where I started. Tuesday last week, it was met by some breakout sessions and the opportunity to hear from the Secretary of Education of the United States, Mr. Miguel Cardona. And if you've been following my social media, you see my horrible attempt at a selfie of him. If you haven't, you need to go to CandyAppleAdvocacy.com. Go ahead, sign up. You can follow all my newest little trips around. I'll be going to Harrisburg next month, so you'll be able to see all that exclusive pictures and all that. Well, not before they hit social media, but there'll be some that you don't see on social media there, obviously, and then you'll get to see them all there first. And, yeah, so I met with him. He gave us a keynote address and then a fireside conversation, which was wonderful to hear him engaging in a way that you normally don't get to hear him with the normal press and all the other stuff that he does. Wednesday, we went to the Capitol, and you'll see some of my highlights from that day. I met with 4 senators, had the opportunity to speak with them. Also, visited a bunch of offices for Pennsylvania representatives. They're all posted, but visited both Pennsylvania senator's office, left our note behind. And, yeah, so our note. I mentioned that. Now, this is the point I want to drive home. So we'll circle back to that. Put a pin in that. Let's bring that back up. The note that we left in these offices. Thursday morning, we went over to the Department of Education building and had a 2-hour. Man, this is how Geo would appreciate this. A 2-hour crash course from a bunch of people at the Department of Education, and from anything from grants to FAFSAs to bilingual education to, just across the board. A whole bunch of things. 15 minutes each. We were there for about 2 hours. I think we heard from 7 people. There was some of that, slop time in there, but it was just amazing. Just enough to get your palate wet and make sure you knew what was going on within the Department of Education. So, great handouts, great information. So, really action-packed and powerful. I just can't begin to describe how thankful I was to be there. Looking forward, hopefully, to going back in 2025, or if not sooner. And, so, okay, back to the note. I wish I had one right here in front of me, because I took them to another place yesterday. But the point is, the reason we went to Capitol Hill. I know these two guys here will be horrified when I tell them. Plus anybody else that's listening should be horrified. Why? Because this is the Pennsylvania number, and I don't have the United States number, but it was awfully close. They were all pretty close. Some were just stupid, but I don't know which states they were. I only seen some sheets real quick. But 38% of readers in Pennsylvania read on grade level in the 4th grade. 38% of Pennsylvania readers in the 4th grade read on grade level. Did you catch that? %. Let's not take that lightly. That is, we'll give them credit for 4 out of 10. That means 6 out of 10 are not reading on grade level. I think the national average is 32%, so we're doing slightly better than that. And Gio says he's not surprised at all. I'm not. I was surprised it was that low. I figured it would be the other way, that 60-some% read on grade level and 40 don't. I'm deeply concerned because I'm sure these two, like I said, these two gentlemen, I see Everett Feamer over on the YouTube. I am sure he will appreciate this as well. In order to do the research that paranormal people like to do, or the business research that Gio does, or any of the research that I do, from advocacy with schools or laws or nonprofits or even paranormal stuff, I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best at comprehension and not the best at reading. But man, I can do it. Take some time. It's a labor of love often, but I mean, come on. These kids need to be able to read. Oh yeah, look at that. For you watching on video, the YouTube chat is actually appearing on the flag over there, which is pretty cool. For those wondering, the flag over here, right? Yeah, look at that. That is a flag that flew over the U.S. Capitol. Obviously, it didn't fly over while I was there because, well, nevertheless. But I thought it would be cool to have one of those. And I'm getting the Pennsylvania flag that actually will fly over the Pennsylvania Capitol the day we are there. It'll be the first time the whole family's there, so I figured that'll be a very cool touch to what we got going on here. Working on some of this stuff back here. Big duck up here. I love the big duck. Need to get the mallard sign figured out and all that other stuff. But nevertheless, it's going to be working going forward. So, actually, what I'd love to do is hire somebody to just do it. But, yeah. Anyways, the money isn't there to do that. So, okay. Anyways. Now that I've got that off my chest. So, be looking forward to those posts. I'll be making a bunch of posts over the next month on social media. One way or the other, about my trip or my pending trip to Harrisburg. So be prepared to be tired of all of that. So I know Mr. Pullen wants to call in. He probably has the call-in number. If he doesn't, he should. 234-738-55. All right, 2552. Good grief! I've only been using that number for 12 years now, and I can't remember it. I haven't used it in a while, though, right? It's been a hot minute since I threw it up there and told people to call it, so I'll give myself a little grace on that. Thank you, Mr. Pallone. It does look promising. I'm not sure about this little silver that I got going back there. I do like the little bit of a glow I got going on the Legacy Award from last fall, so I don't know. Of course, I got this big head in the way, so I'm going to have to make that some switch. Because obviously, yeah, that's just not working right now. But nevertheless, we'll figure it out. Maybe stack some books so you can see them the other way. I don't know, we'll figure that out too. Get some awesome books that I'd like to have over the shoulders just because. And yeah, So we'll see how that all works out. Got to get the chair out of the picture too. All right, I'm just kidding. Anyways, so there's all that. So whatever else is on your mind, I know Poland has some probably ufology if I had to guess. Geo observations, more than welcome to call in. Everett, well, he won't, but it's okay, he can. Yeah, so there's all that. There's something else I see on Twitter this morning that I was going to talk about, and you want to bet now that I want it, I can't find it, just so we don't know. All right, so just be standing by for me to stumble all over stuff and laugh. Oh, what's going on here? Let's find out what's going on. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Okay, so Everett has questions for Mr. Poland. It went to voicemail. What in the world is going on? I bet you know what happened. I wasn't paying attention. Poland, I'm calling you back because I do see it here. So make sure everybody can hear him and hear us, because that'd be ultimate.
Hello?
William Poland, let's make sure everybody can hear us before we start too far down the rabbit hole this time. I think we've done this once or twice where it didn't work out so well. But how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you? Good to hear your voice.
It's good to be back. I've realized the last couple weeks, especially last week. Of course, I wasn't even home last week. That's the dynamo part of that, right? I wasn't even home, and I kind of missed it. So, which is good. I was worried about that at one point or another. So the passion is still there to hear that. So, again, we're just making sure everybody can hear you. Still waiting. I haven't seen anybody that says they can. I haven't heard anybody that says they can't. So I'm not sure if that's good news or bad news. Yeah. So
well, if they want to hear my skeptical point of view, they probably don't want to hear it. But we've been keeping track of you, all your travels and your efforts. So we're all proud of you. I wanted to say that. So.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, it's been a whirlwind. If you would have asked me what was that when this all started, probably. Goodness, it's been almost a year now, I guess. And yeah, I never figured I'd go to Harrisburg once, and now I'm planning to go back for the fair time and conferences for both the state level and the federal level. I honestly never expected to be headed to D.C., and then got a little email from one of the people there and said, would you be interested? And my wife said, I said yes, send back yes, let's see where it lands.
Yeah, good man, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we're all proud of you. We've been watching you on social media, those of us who are, Facebook friends, personal friends, or on your pages. So we're very happy to see all the progress and stuff you're doing. So good stuff.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to be out there and be seen. So just so you know, the Secret Service doesn't joke around, and neither does the Capitol Police. Just saying. Their sense of humor is limited, and limited just left town. So you know what that means.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Recent events in that area have probably not kicked up a notch too. So yeah, that's good.
So, Mr. Poland, how has the UFO field been? Well, I'm not even going to ask how it's been since we've last talked, because I know nothing's changed. I guess that's not even a fair question to ask you.
Yeah, really nothing's changed. A lot of talk, a lot of rhetoric coming from different camps, a lot of promotion. Sensationalism going on, the same things going on, but nothing really new as far as the actual problem. Actual multiple witness sightings, landing cases, there's nothing really going on as far as the actual phenomenon. All the talk is the powers that be, whistleblowers, claims, things like that. So it really hasn't changed, but it's in the news almost every day. I mean, but it really hasn't progressed, going anywhere, so that's kind of where we're at.
Do you think it will? Do you honestly think ever it will be just something will break free? Something will break free one way or the other. I'm not saying you'll get the, full whatever we have everywhere display, because I don't think we're going to see that in our lifetime, but something will. I hate these drips, right? Because it seems like we're dripping. I'm hoping the dam breaks and we get a little bit more than we have been. or do you think we're just going to close it back down?
I think it's more secretive now than it was several years ago. I think what we're hearing is nothing of any substance, really. Since the December 2017 story came out in the New York Times, I've gotten more skeptical than normal, almost cynical. I'm a big science guy. I just don't think extraterrestrials could make it here from anywhere. You can't break physical laws. So there's something else going on. And I don't know if the government has anything at all. I don't know if they're hiding anything. They may know nothing about this, and they'd be loath to admit it. So, but if something did happen, I just don't think it's going to cover the government. I think it might be some random occurrence or some alien landing in Peoria, Illinois, or something like that. Something that they can't deny. But as far as drip, drip, drip disclosure from them, no, it's not going to happen. They may not. The UFO subculture doesn't consider the possibility that the government may have nothing to disclose at all. They're convinced the government's hiding something. They may not be.
I'm here to tell you the government is definitely not hiding anything. You know why? I was just in D.C. last week. They had plenty of opportunity to find me because obviously I was posting rapidly where I was all day.
Yeah.
And none of the men in black walked up to me and said, "There's more."
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yep.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
They had plenty of opportunity to walk up and hand me a vanilla envelope. No, and say here.
Like what's his name? David Charles Rush and some other whistleblowers. They're not really whistleblowers. They're just talking. To quote our mutual friend Everett Thiemer, it's recycled information. It's nothing new. Nothing we haven't heard for 40 years. But they're claiming there are thousands of people involved in the UFO cover-up. Anybody who has any inkling of how human nature works knows that if you have thousands of people working on a project that's secret, somebody's going to talk. Somebody's going to leave some documentation somewhere by accident. Even when they were trying to hide the D-Day invasion back in World War II, there were flag rank officers that left documentation behind at their homes. There were leaks going on. So that happened in such a secret program, then we'd have that with UFOs, but we don't. All we have is claims that are coming from the same people, most of which are civilians that have no need to know. They have no access to that. And a few people in government that are, they have backgrounds that are less than ideal. There's red flags there. So it's really just talk with no substance. And that sounds horrible, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, and like I've long said, I mean, you know me. If there's any shot that I can get a picture of it or sneak it out, or it's coming out. That's just me, right? Yeah. I'm never getting the national security clearance because, right, I'm not the guy to get it.
Yeah.
But I believe that there are enough people that have them that shouldn't, that would tell us.
Yes. Yeah. 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 The newest Satan figure within the UFO subculture is the Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, which everyone hates, and I love. I love that. He's a science guy. I love that. And he stated in one interview that there are true believers in government and outside of government, and they have their beliefs that are completely based on belief. It's like a religion. He's right. I mean, what do we have physically to prove the reality of UFOs? Nothing. We have talk, claims, testimonials. Do we have a craft? No. Do we have a body? No. We have nothing but claims, and that's not evidence. That is completely anecdotal. And in a court of law, I guess you could win a case like that, but we're not talking about a legal matter. We're talking about science. And you can't prove the reality of a black hole in a courtroom. It takes scientific information. Same thing with this. So, yeah.
But could you prove it in the court of law? I know me and Everett have talked about this several times. Where, we talked about having somebody come in from both sides, right? You and maybe, saying like somebody, defense and prosecution, right? Have them have time to prepare. Somebody like me play judge. Get a jury of how many ever people get on the YouTube chat that night, right? Mm-hmm. And just settle it. They still might do that. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, sure, that'd be a great idea. Yeah, Don Schmidt and Tom Carey, one of their books profiles the Roswell case, and the book is written in the form of like you're trying to prove a case in front of a civil trial, a civil jury.
Right.
And if you do it that way, I think you could prove that Roswell was an alien, the crash of an alien spacecraft, because a lot of the testimonies there are firsthand. There's no red flags, and the credibility of witnesses is pretty high, and there's no reason to doubt their sincerity. But there's still nothing physical. So in a court of law, I think there are some cases you could prove that at least something anomalous occurred. You could do that in a court of law, but that's still different than a piece of a ship or a piece of, well, even if it's not a ship, that sounds biased. If it's a piece of material that's non-terrestrial, the isotopes are not natural to Earth, or a body of an organism or a construct that wasn't made here, but still clearly from somewhere else, then you can make the case that, okay, we have tangible proof to examine that's testable that proves this is non-terrestrial, but we don't have that. We don't, and yet, which is not saying it's not happening. It's not saying that perhaps there's something anomalous going on, whether it's aliens or time travelers or multidimensional or whatever the case would be. There's clearly something unknown, unexplained going on, and that doesn't mean it's not unknowable. That just means it's unsolved. But that does not mean it's aliens either. We just don't know. So,
but the question becomes, now this is a question directly for you. And I know you're going to hem and haw, but this is my question. Can you convince me that, maybe not you, I'm sure you probably agree with me on this, to a degree, but who would be the person? I guess we'll ask it this way. And maybe if you want to answer me later on Facebook, you can just say that. But who would be the person that convinced me that Roswell was a paranormal event as opposed to a secret military project that went bad?
Being paranormal, including alien?
Yeah, well, the unexplained
okay.
phenomenon, I
Who
guess.
can convince you Roswell being a paranormal event as opposed to something other than that? I don't know. I know Tom Carey is completely convinced that it was alien. The late Stanton Friedman was completely convinced it was alien. Don Schmidt is somewhere like 80%, where he believes it's alien, but he's not quite. There's still the door open. Carol Randall is somewhere like 75%, and I'm somewhere like that too. I'm like, it's, the only explanation that fits the information we have is something extraterrestrial, but it's still just anecdotal. So it's not, in my mind, it's not good enough. I've got to be a real stick in the mud about that sort of thing. But someone who's convinced it's alien is still going to be based that on stories, and it's quality testimony. Yes, it's credible. Yes, there's no red flags, but I can't name anybody. And the trouble is that if you have a credible witness whose background holds up, no red flags, their credibility is beyond reproach, and a researcher has looked into them and vetted them and decided that I believe this witness, if this witness's testimony is credible, that's an opinion. They've decided to believe that person. That's an opinion. That is not the result of any kind of scientific examination. That's an opinion. They've chosen to believe that person, which means that choice could be an error. That's not the scientific method. It isn't. But going back to the question, I don't know. There's lots of researchers and UFO people that believe Roswell was alien, 100%. But I don't know how they would go around. I don't know how they would possibly convince you of that. Because my mind doesn't work that way. So
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like I mean, I tend to want to believe there was something there, but obviously the other part of me says, "Well, come on, the government rushed there. I mean, it wasn't like they were surprised." They came in, cleaned it up, and moved on. Like,
yeah,
because you know as well as I do, right? If there was actually something there, they'd be there taking pictures and drawing, conducting this weird investigation like they do for car crashes, and they just came in and said, "Throw a tarp over it, we're good."
We know an event took place. We know that much. Something did happen there. We know material was brought back to the airfield. We know that material was flown to. It was detoured to Carswell in Fort Worth and taken on the right path. Right field. Excuse me. I want to be historically accurate. Right field in near Dayton, Ohio. We know that happened. We don't know what the material was. It may have been anomalous. It may have been a secret military apparatus. It may have been like that. It could have been something extraterrestrial. We don't know that. We know it's a possibility, but we don't know. There's enough information there that eliminates a lot of possibilities. It wasn't Nazi recovered technology. It wasn't midgets thrown in an aircraft. It wasn't a hoax. It wasn't a weather balloon for use for weather purposes. It might have been something else, but you can't prove the case because there's nothing tangible there. It's a lot of stories from very credible people whose, again, their backgrounds are beyond their credibility is set in stone, but it's still just talk, and we have to remember that in a very general way. And I'm going to get flack for this somewhere. I'm sure I'll get an email. Human beings are not the best observers of their environment. They're not.
No, it goes back.
Misidentified things all the time.
It goes back to the car crash thing, right? Or people see different things.
Yeah. I mean, a policeman arrives at a car wreck that just happened 10 minutes before. He or she will get 10 different descriptions from 10 different witnesses of an event that took place 10 minutes ago or 10 minutes prior. That's bizarre. And on top of that, when it comes to the UFO problem specifically, if people were better observers of their environment, they wouldn't call MUFON and file reports that turned out to be birds or bugs in a windshield on their own car. They would identify those things, but they don't. They file them as UFO reports, which means their observational skills are pretty... they should be at least questioned. They should be.
So hold on. I got a bird story for you. This is good. Remember, birds aren't real, first and foremost.
No, they're dinosaurs, yeah.
Oh, God. Anyways, I had to say that. Just because I wanted see if anybody was paying attention. So I'm driving down to DC. It's getting light finally, right? Because we had to leave in the middle of the night, like 5 a.m. I guess that's not quite the middle of the night, but it's dark. It's early.
It's dark, yeah.
Yeah, it's early enough that you got a couple hours in the car before the sun comes up. So the sun's coming up. I'm cruising along, and I'm like, "What the hell was that?" I seen this black thing out of the side of my eye, and then I heard this noise, and I'm like, "What was that?" And I look in my side mirror, and there was bird feathers everywhere, and I'm like, "Wow, he's not living to tell about that one."
Yeah.
No, just not a good morning for him. They hit the side of my car. It wasn't like he even hit the window, right? Like he could, pretend he was seeing through and, missed. No. Absolute side, halfway up, squared up, hit it. Thankfully it was not a huge bird, but still big enough to make you think, what the world just happened?
Kind of same thing happened to me this weekend. I was out doing my usual, scheduled tennis lessons on the court, and I was feeding balls to my client, and within a 5-minute period, 2 pigeons flew by from west to east across the court at eye level, the same level as the tennis balls. So they could have gotten hit. Just something random. You don't expect you expect to look up and see birds at 100 feet up. You don't expect to see them passing the tennis court at eye level. I guess it's kind of like that the famous video of Randy Johnson, the baseball pitcher.
I was just thinking that. I just seen that in my head. That
that preacher, he blew a bird up by hitting it. That is just a random chance, but same thing. Yeah, you don't expect to see living animals flying by you at high speeds at eye level or running into the side of your car. But it does happen, so, Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I was going to ask the other question that Everett asked, and I looked down and seen the other one that he just mentioned. Of course, birds are real. That's crazy talk. Remember, Nick Pope told us seagulls were aliens here to keep an eye on us.
He sure did. And Giorgio Tsoukalos recently said that the dinosaurs were not made extinct by a asteroid impact. He said they were chosen for extermination by aliens to make room for us. His words, not mine. So I'll leave it at that.
Don't leave it at that, because now I'm just sitting here going, what the hell did you just say?
I'm sorry.
Right? Like,
God.
you've had a moment to
Yeah,
process
not
that
that time.
stupidity. I mean,
Gosh, I heard that. I was like, really? It was akin to, what was it, Eric Von Daniken decades ago said the Nazca lines were runways for alien spacecraft. I thought to myself, I immediately thought, advanced extraterrestrials need to use runways? Really? Is that a thing? How does he know that? How does he know that? Of course, the evidence never comes out. It's just a claim. But that's just, I don't know. It seems like the critical thinking is never used, really. But let's just pause and think about what we're saying here. Does that make logical sense?
yes.
You know, the dinosaurs were extinguished by aliens 66.4 million years ago. And we don't arrive on the planet until about 2 million years ago. So, why would they want to do that? Really? Aliens can control the pathways, the orbits of asteroids? Really? How does that work? How do you know this? Why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. Do aliens even exist? Okay. Well, you can't answer an unknown question with an unknown question. You can't do that.
Oh, boy. Geo observation coming in for the win. And I'm going to read it. Sorry, Gio. I'm going to read it. Both can be true. Aliens chose to eliminate the dinosaurs and accomplished it with a direct asteroid strike.
Well, I go back to when someone makes a claim, regardless of whether it's science or not, when a claim is made, the onus is on the claimants to provide the information to prove it. Not on me. Mr. Tucolo said that. Mr. Van Daniken said that. They're the ones that make the claims. The onus is on them to prove it. They have not done so. Therefore, their statements are just opinions until proven valid.
So
That's where it works.
So I'll give you all of this, right? I'll play along with me. This is true. That the aliens eliminated the dinosaurs with an asteroid strike. Cool.
Yeah.
Why did the aliens leave us so long without fire? Or any kind of technology?
Yeah.
I mean, they're buzzing by, millions of miles an hour.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it'd be cool. Wipe out those dinosaurs. And we could put some people down there for our entertainment. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, so we can eliminate a highly successful group of animals, reptiles, that they'd ruled the planet for over 120 million years. There was no pollution, no murder, no rape, no sexism, no racism. Let's eliminate them so that we can give the planet to a species of hominids that conduct open warfare, racism, ageism, sexism, and they destroy their own environment. In other words, us. I wrote that really well, didn't I?
Well, now that I've said this out loud, this makes more sense. By the minute, this is making more and more sense, because you give an alien child an animal, right? He's eventually going to get bored of it. He gets a little bit older. He needs something more fun, more entertaining, right? So he creates people.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm seeing this. This is starting. This is starting to spiral out of control in the right direction.
Yeah, or otherwise, yeah. I mean, these are all interesting possibilities. I mean, can I say it didn't happen? No, I would never say that, because I have no proof to support my statement. Is it possible dinosaurs actually were killed by aliens? Sure, it's possible, but all the information we have does not support that. Now, if the information came up, the surface that did show that actually is reality, then I would change my mind. But there is none, as of yet. So it's one of those things where all possibilities are in play, but reality is based on proof. Possibilities are based on opinions that have not been proven yet. So until tangible evidence comes to light to support those claims, I withhold my position, which is, I guess, skeptical, which is not very popular in the UFO field. But I mean, what happened to the responsibility of proving your claim? It's reversed in the UFO field. It's up. The view is that somebody can make a claim. It's up to the researcher to debunk it. Excuse me? No, it's reversed. somebody makes a claim, the onus is on them to prove it. It's the way it works in science. It's the way it works in all these fields, except ufology. Or to quote Carl Korb, ufology. So, not popular, but that's where it goes.
So here we go. I want to say hi to both Kevins in the YouTube chat room, Kevin McDougal and Kevin Harold. Good to see them both. Because I got to do that because I haven't seen Kevin McDougal. I've seen him. I think it was a couple weeks ago on Twitter. I've seen him and Mr. Harold, former guest on the program. Always good to see him.
I think we're all happy you're back. Yeah, we're all happy to be out here and chatting with you. So
okay, so Geo pops up another point. If aliens can overcome the laws of physics, which okay, we have to agree to that, right? In the first place, with his words, it's a relatively short step to believing they can alter the trajectory of a relatively small asteroid. I agree, because if they could get here, right, from wherever, of course they can just toss some space junk aside. I mean, they had to be able to move stuff to get here, in my opinion.
Oh, sure, yeah, that is a logical statement. If first we're able to prove they break the laws of physics, that's not been proven either.
Well, the laws of physics weren't figured out for years. They don't know the laws of physics.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's one of those things where, well, aliens do this and that. We have not proven that aliens have arrived here. We can't put the cart in front of the horse. First things first.
Man, I'm starting to feel this ufology thing, man. I'm starting to get it. Like, I can just say anything and make it make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is starting to be good. Because, like, I mean, the laws of physics didn't exist until, what, the 1500s or something. I mean, the aliens don't have to follow them. They've been around for millions of years.
The laws of physics were established after the Big Bang. Our knowledge of them arrived.
No.
Like the date you quoted, yeah.
They didn't exist. They didn't exist before humans knew what they were. Get your facts right.
There. We're just aware of them now. Yeah. Are they breakable? There's no proof that they are. There's nothing to suggest they are. If they are, we need to prove that. We can't assume that. We can't assume that aliens, if they exist, were able to break the laws of physics. They might be able to, certainly. But do we know that? No, we don't.
See, now I can just push back, and people believe the Earth is the globe. So I mean,
yeah. Oh, God. Yes.
See, I can break all the. I can break all the rules pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, but again, this is all fascinating rhetoric. This is a good conversation because, yes, we have not proven aliens have come to Earth. We don't know if they can break the laws of physics. These are all unknown possibilities. Are they out of bounds? No, they're not. Aliens may have come to Earth. Aliens may be able to break the laws of physics. We don't know that yet. It's still possible. We can't throw out the what the old saying, the baby with the bathwater, but we still need to prove it. We can't assume it. Nothing. I mean, what do we know about UFOs? What do we know definitively about unidentified flying objects? Do we know where they're coming from? Why? We don't know. We don't know anything.
Let's take a step back, though. Let's keep it. Yeah. You're a science guy. I'm a science guy, right? Well, let's pull it back a step. Okay. What do we know about space? The universe, the next universe over.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we know there's 8 planets. There's 9. Pluto's back, baby.
There's 9, yeah.
There'll always be 9.
Yeah, there's 9. Yeah.
Right? 9. But that's what I'm saying. Like, even that was discovered. Pluto was discovered in the 50s and then became uncool again in the 2010s, and now it's whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that window of knowledge is much smaller, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're starting to see other universes and other black holes and all this other stuff. So it is possible, right? Yeah. That we know 1% of the universe.
Yeah. And
so
our level of the totality of our knowledge as it grows, as we become more knowledgeable of the universe, means the boundary of our ignorance gets pushed further and further back. But we'll never know everything. We simply try to find more knowledge about the universe around us. So the more we learn, the more we realize that we don't know everything. That's the way it works. For every question we answer, 2 more questions are posed. It's part of the process of learning about the universe. But we know a lot about the universe. how it works, its history, what it contains, the possibility there are other universes, black holes, quasars, pulsars, asteroids, dwarf planets, stars, what have you. We know a lot about the universe, but we don't know a lot more. We're very ignorant about the possibilities. But we have a strong foundation to build off of. We know a lot about the universe, which allows us to move forward and make reasonable declarations, reasonable possibilities to explore, and some of those work out, some don't. But when you talk about UFOs, what do we know? We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know why they're here. We don't even know if they've actually arrived. And even that statement that I just made is completely ignorant, because UFO is unidentified flying object. To the UFO subculture, UFO means alien, which is ridiculous. UFO means unidentified. A UFO is a misidentified bird. A UFO is a misidentified drone. The UFO might be an alien spacecraft. The UFO is a misidentified meteor crash. All those things are unidentified flying objects. Doesn't mean they're alien. So our level of ignorance is very high with that topic, which doesn't mean anything. It just means we just don't know. And for some reason in the UFO field, not knowing is a negative thing when it's an opportunity to learn.
And I'm sitting here pondering out, you're going to love this. Like we said, we're sending spacecraft out, cruising until who knows where, right? Well, what if they're sending stuff the other direction? And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
There's no, we don't have people on that craft that went by Pluto.
Yeah.
Oh, so I've got another a very serious question. And I know no flat earthers on the right mind listen to this program because they hate me, right? Because I make fun of them all the time. So maybe somebody could clip this right here, right? And send this to them. Because I'm curious. I got my visual going here, right? So my asteroid hits the Earth and just goes right through it because it's flat. Right? Let's see.
I'm sorry, did I do the last part of your statement? The asteroid hits the Earth and what happens?
Well, because if the Earth is flat, the asteroid would just go right through it, right? Because it's pretty thin.
I see what you mean. Okay.
So.
Yeah, sure. That's more likely. Yeah.
Just a fair question. Just out there for the flat earthers.
Yeah. If the Earth is flat, and I've never seen it declared how thick the Earth is. Let's say it's 8 miles thick.
As I say, hopefully it's a little thicker than my Post-it notes.
Flat Earth. Oh no! Here we go.
Send those hate emails to William Poland at what is it? Gmail.
William Poland 33 at gmail.com. They can send them to me. I'm already. My inbox is full.
Oh.
But I'm room for more. So yeah.
He's got
I love my detractors. Love them. They're my biggest fans.
He'll actually take time to read them. I'll just file them in the round files, so you might want to send them.
I read my emails. They give me inspiration for a blog post.
That's what I was saying.
Some people make the mistake, or actually they have the balls to actually send an email with they're using their real name, which to me, I highly respect that. If you're going to...
Oh, no, that's a fact.
Like that. I mean, if someone's going to have a contrary point of view to my own, and they argue the point very well, kudos to them. I mean, that's good. The conversation's good. If they use their real name, good for them. But when someone called, UFO Wally Boy 33 sends me an email, I'm like, okay, who is this person? Really? You weren't willing to use your own name?
Yeah.
Come on.
If you're not willing to use your own name, you're not worth my time to reply to you. Unless...
Agreed.
There's one case, I will reply to somebody. If they send me a big fat check.
There you go.
If they send me a big pile of cash, I will send them a thank you note.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what their name is.
There you go. Yeah, gotta be thanked. Gotta be kudos and thanks. So that's good. Good stuff.
The Prince of Dubai, he'll get a thank you. Oh.
Yeah.
I can't get that lucky.
Yeah. No. I don't think any of us are. It's we're not making money of this like Jeremy Corbell. So the cash flows over that. The cash flows toward him and George Knapp and Richard Dolan, not toward us. So.
And Everett said I just explained Mel's hole. Interesting. Never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
What's the percent of the stuff we know about the ocean? Anybody know that number off the top of their head, or not? Maybe somewhere.
About the ocean?
Yeah, I mean, because we've only explored so much percent of the ocean. It's like 70% or something like that.
Well, there's a saying that goes right. There's a lot to it. There's a saying that we know more about the surface of our own moon than we do about the bottom of the ocean. I think that's true. Because the moon we can see it. It's plain. There's nothing hidden about the surface of the moon. We can take measurements. We've landed there. It's not like it's under a cloud of. It's not under a layer of clouds like Venus. It doesn't have an atmosphere, so everything's visual. You can see it. You can observe it. You can learn about it. The underneath the oceans, there's a lot of unknown there.
So,
what's going on?
Thank you for stalling there for me for a second, so I could use the Google. And I used AI actually. I'm not gonna lie. I used Google's AI. Seen by humans, 5% of the ocean floor has been directly observed by humans. Another
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Point here has been mapped with high resolution technology. It says 24.9, but I'll give them the credit and say 25.
25, yeah.
So
yeah,
that's a quarter for those of you who don't understand percentages.
Yes, that's scientific accurate. Yeah, that's a very low number for. I mean, we lived on Earth our entire history. The oceans have been nearby all our lives. The majority of the population lives on shorelines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to have our world's oceans being explored to such a low level says a lot, not about us, but the difficulty in exploring our oceans. Some of our oceans are miles deep. It's in some ways it's more difficult to travel into the deep ocean than it is to get into orbit in many ways.
Yeah.
And so the fact that those numbers are so low is not surprising to me. So
I'll say it.
Which opens up possibilities. So
I'll say it because I'm cool with this. Elon Musk wants to explore space, but doesn't want to explore the ocean.
No, I mean the oceans are pretty important to us.
I mean, he might wish he put those.
There, so.
He might wish he put those Cybertrucks in the ocean. Never sold them, but.
No. And going back to the dinosaur extermination. So the aliens killed off the dinosaurs, so we could take over the Earth and destroy the oceans. That worked out really good. Yeah, the oceans are full of plastics and pollution. We're raping and destroying the populations of fish in the ocean, but it's all good because we're intelligent.
Hey,
sorry, I have a low level of respect for humans, so
I got you here.
The species that it is.
I've got it though.
Yeah.
We're gonna put enough plastic in the ocean that we can just drive around the Earth.
It'll get there. Yeah, I mean, and someday there'll be corals, coral displays in ocean in museums around the world because there won't be any coral left in the ocean themselves. It's like, oh, these once lived off the shore of Australia and some of their oceans, but they're all gone now. So, yeah. Kind of like the dodo bird.
Well, or the dinosaurs, or the,
passenger pigeon. Oh, yeah. Everything, but everything's aliens. So everything's aliens. So
everything.
Everything is aliens. Yeah. Nazca lines are runways. Aliens kill dinosaurs. Aliens are hybrids, and they're watching over us using what was it? Seagulls. According to Nick Pope. Yeah, that's all true. All true.
Well, but back. Okay, let's dial that back for just 1 second. Okay, I live in Western Pennsylvania, right? The closest I get to seagulls is when I go to Erie, right? And that's a good hour away. So, what's watching me? Crows?
I don't know.
Geese?
I wouldn't know. Geese? Maybe geese are migratory. Let's see, what species of birds lives in your area that is not migratory? Because it would make sense if you have. Well, I don't know. That's supposition, though. Who knows? But it seems to me that if you're going to observe, if I'm an alien and I want to observe Jim Mallard using a bird, I'm not going to use a species of bird that's migratory. I'm going to use a species of bird that lives there 365, 24/7. So I'm not a bird expert, so I don't know what species of bird lives in Pennsylvania year round, but it would have to be that to keep an eye on you, because Jim Mallard is a threat, clearly.
Well, obviously, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Oh, so
yes, agreed.
I wanted to mention this. Told David, our friend David Prudence of the show. We've spent a lot of time back and forth between the two of us. We talked about it on one show at one point about the cathedral in Paris, right? And then I seen this morning that the cathedral in Copenhagen, Denmark, was on fire. So it's going to be interesting to see what the cause of that one was. But I mean, all these old cathedrals, 17th century, 16th century cathedrals catching on fire, makes you. I mean, they're old and pretty dry, right? I mean, I'm not going to say it's out of the realm of possibilities here, right?
Yeah.
That they're separate incidents, and but it's just interesting to see them having survived so far to catch fire so back to back, so to speak, in the big scheme of their history. So.
Yeah, that is troubling. Yeah, I mean, random chance, it sure could happen, but to have such two old structures, classic pieces of architecture, go up in flames relatively quickly in the same time period, that seems a little odd.
Well, especially
maybe nothing. It may be random chance, but
especially both being cathedrals of the same vein of architecture. Like, it's not just two old buildings; we're doubling into it a little bit. So
so that commonality may suggest a pattern or something going on. So you're right.
Could be.
It's a shame because so many things in our history, classic buildings, architecture, cathedrals, knowledge, the Library of Alexandria, had been destroyed by our own hands. I mean, how much more would we know about our own history if we had not been so self-destructive?
Everything.
The Spaniards, the Europeans destroyed the history of the Aztecs, the Toltecs, the Mayans, the Incas, because they wanted to wipe out the people's culture. They replaced it with a European-style culture. Well, that's all lost knowledge.
Well, we can double down into that, too. Native Americans, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they
Europeans almost, gave it their best shot to eradicate that.
They sure did. Yeah, they did. So you take the history of the human species in its totality, that has happened many, many, many times, more often than we even know. So what knowledge about our own past has been lost to destruction? We don't know. We're ignorant of our own ignorance. We don't know what we've destroyed. What answers will we have now to questions we can't answer now because we had the answer, let's say, in 1400 or 5 BC or whatever. We had the answer, but it's been lost by our own hand. So, I don't know. We may know, some of these questions are, unanswerable, but it would be akin to trying to find out the background of your own family when all the paperwork has been destroyed. Well, that's kind of difficult. So,
yeah, that's kind of hard.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. That's what we're living with. So that makes the search for information even harder. Not to mention the process of find out things about the past. The fact that we've destroyed our own past to a certain extent makes it difficult. It still should be done because we need to learn about these things, but it's tough. So
yeah, I don't know. I sit here thinking about, I had this phrase wrote on a piece of painter's tape in my locker back in probably 10th grade or so, and it is, history is written by the victors.
Agreed.
Of course, I was being a little bit more narrow-minded at that point. I wasn't necessarily thinking about the broad picture of life, but
Yeah, but that statement applies. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that can't be argued. World history suggests that that's the way it is. The victors write history. The conquered are the conquered, and usually they're dead. Dead men can't talk. So, or dead women too. They can't talk.
Dead men tell no tales. No.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So that's a shame. It's really a shame because we're all fascinated with the possibilities. Well, those are unanswered questions. Some of those questions, some of those answers might have been really awe-inspiring, but we'll never know. What a shame. What a shame that all that knowledge is lost. I mean, the history books would be, even more fascinating than they are now if we had those answers. So, but we don't. So, and now we're stuck looking for UFOs.
So, Pullen, I'm going to give you an opportunity to, you mentioned your blog a little bit earlier. I definitely want to make sure you get that out. And then I have this final thought that will melt everybody's brain that is listening to this program right now.
Nice.
Go ahead. Blog and where people can find you and all that fun stuff.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. They want to, you can find me, William G. Pullen, on Facebook, X, in other words, Twitter or Instagram. William G. Pullen. But most of my blogs are on Facebook. Oh, I'm also on, what's the other platform? A Blogger. So I'm everywhere, just talking UFOs and whatnot. So, but that's where they can find me. So, Jim, what is your statement? What's your question?
Well, this is a statement, and I wanted to save this until you were done because I know it's going to make people click off immediately. So I just wanted to make sure that people heard your promotion before. I have this theory. This is going to be one of those conspiracies that somebody's going to grab a hold of and make a lot of money off of. What if the Nazis buried the Confederate gold on Oak Island? Coming this fall, the History Channel.
Yeah. The show's been on for like 18 seasons. They found nothing. The Nazis buried
the Confederate gold
on Oak Island. That's an all-encompassing theory there. Well, we need to apply some science and find out. I don't know.
Keep digging that hole.
I would tend to say no.
Me too.
I don't want to be accused of being too cynical. So
I got to mention my other great conspiracy at this point. Look at an aerial shot of Oak Island. If you get the right one, it looks like a duck. Just saying. I hold the secrets to the island. They need to bring me in.
Yeah. Get involved. Yep, there
it is. All right, Pullen.
Yeah. Oh.
I appreciate you. Man, this hour just flew. And for all the good reasons.
Great show. Yeah, I figure everyone's proud of you. Keep up your efforts. We're all very happy to see you on the air again. So, good stuff. It's great to be with you.
I'm probably going to do a recording next week again, and then I might be back in what is that, hold on, everybody. I need to bring a calendar up. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the 30th or the 7th I'll be back and doing some more live calls. I got to check the calendar and make sure and then I'll be out of town again. And so it's just going to be kind of bouncing back and forth for a while here.
Yeah.
And but nevertheless, it was good to see everybody tonight. And Pullen, thanks again.
You got it, Jim. You take care of yourself.
You too.
Okay.